Explanation for the Semester 2 final exam. For the past several weeks, we have focused on 3 separate social issues and how literature was impacted by them. So now it's going to be your job to take it a bit further. Everything you're going to need for this project is going to be in this document, okay? So for this project, you're going to select one of the 3 different themes we discussed in the unit. There will be 2 parts to this final exam. So part 1, you're going to complete research on your chosen topic. And then you will incorporate your research strategies that you learned from the Navigating Digital Information unit as you find information to support your essay. Then for part 2, you will be required to write a 7-slide presentation that incorporates the lessons that we have learned throughout the semester. Okay, so first thing you're going to do is you're going to select your topic. We have 3 different topics here. You have men and women, wealth and poverty, and oppression. So for the men and women unit, you will be asked to address the roles of men and women in the society. You're going to be considering how the roles of men and women were discussed in literature and how that was impacted by the time they were written. And then you will consider how the roles of men and women have either changed or stayed the same in our world today. And finally, you'll be asked to analyze how literature impacts the world around us. It's very similar with the other 2 options. You'll be asked to consider how if you choose wealth and poverty, you'll be asked how that was impacted by the time it was written and whether or not those issues have changed or stayed the same. And if you choose oppression, again, you'll talk about literature and how it was impacted by the time period it was written in, how oppression, and then you'll consider how oppression has either changed or stayed the same in our world. And finally, you'll be asked to analyze how literature impacts the world around us. Okay, so whatever option you pick, you're going to be given, you'll be asked to create a 7-slide Google slide or PowerPoint presentation that will include very specific parts. So you don't have to write an essay, you'll have to write a PowerPoint presentation. So on your PowerPoint presentation, I'll be expecting that you check your spelling, write in complete sentences, and use correct in-text citations when needed. And you can write in bullet points or in paragraph form, whatever you feel most comfortable with. Okay, your presentation must have the following slides. You need a title page, an introduction, background, modern connection, impact of literature on society, conclusion, and a works cited slide. Okay, so for your introduction, you're going to be required to introduce your topic and develop a thesis statement. So for each option, I have a fill-in-the-blank thesis statement that you can use to help you introduce your project. You don't have to use it, but it is there. I am looking that you hook in your reader and that you have a thesis statement. For your background slide, you will be answering the question, what were the relationship dynamics between men and women in the 1700s to 1900s? How do you see this demonstrated? And it could be, basically it's how was your topic demonstrated in the 1700s to 1900s, and how was this demonstrated with the literature we studied in the unit? So you're going to choose any text from the unit and examine how it reflects the time period it was written in. So think about your topic. So you're going to discuss key points that was about the relevant time period and then provide specific examples from the text and evidence that clearly show how it's connected to the era. You need to have a quote in there and evidence that supports your claims, and don't summarize. We've read the story, we know what it's about. It's your job to talk about how it demonstrates your topic and how it applies to the specific time period. For your modern connection slide, you're going to think about how your topic has changed or remained constant from the 1700s to today. Are the values conditions changing at all, or is it just continuing on with very little improvement? So for this portion of the presentation, you will find answers for the above questions and conduct research. You are required to use at least one source in this portion of the project. I am going to be giving you some sources that you can use for this project, okay? I don't need to see a summary of what you've read. Use these sources to strengthen your claims. On your impact of literature slide, you're going to think about how and why does literature help to inspire societal change. You're going to use specific literary text from the unit to support your ideas. So you need to bring in at least one additional story from a unit to support your ideas. You may not use the literary text that you analyze in the background portion of your presentation. As you draft this portion of your project, I should not see a summary of the text. Again, bring in specific examples to support your claims on how and why does literature help to inspire societal change. Finally, for your conclusion, you're going to wrap it up. Think about what you want your reader to take away from your project, and you should conclude your presentation with a final lasting thought. And then I need to see a works cited slide, okay? You do not need to have the literary texts on your works cited page, but I do expect to see those in-text citations in your paper, okay? If you do not provide works cited page, or if you do not provide those in-text citations, you're going to get a 0 until you can provide that evidence. So I need to see you giving credit to those sources, okay? So once you've picked out your topic, you're going to have to complete your research. Now, this assignment is due on Friday, April 16th. And you'll be asked to answer these questions in this page. You're going to find a story that you can use for part 1 of your project. You're going to do that research. Right here, if you click this link, it's going to take you to resources you can use for this project. I highly encourage that you use this, and I'll have a video for you that goes more into detail in the class content. But you'll answer these questions, you'll conduct your research, and then you'll find one more story that you can use. Then you'll get a few weeks to draft your presentation. There's some helpful resources that you can use there, but you'll get a few weeks. I'll carve out some time each week that you have available to work on this presentation in class. And this presentation is going to be due on May 7th. It's worth 75 points. Now, this is the link that will take you to the rubric. Now, you're not being asked to write an essay, but I am looking to see that you're using a thesis statement, that you have the correct introductory sentences, that you have your evidence properly quoted and cited, that you have an introduction slide, a concluding slide, that you use correct grammar and MLA format. So make sure that you have a catchy title, make sure that you're using the correct font. I am going to be looking for that. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to Mrs. Petrevsky or myself. We are more than happy to help you out. I do believe you can do this, and I look forward to reading your project. Thank you so much.